count of three, name your favorite dinosaur. Don't even think about it. Just name it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Velociraptor.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
You want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
This is the Karate in the Garage podcast with Mason Merrill and Weston Toth. Welcome back to another edition of the Karate in the Garage podcast. I'm your host, Mason Merrill, as always, and with me today is joining me with my co-host, Aaron Bowen. How's it going, bro?
Hey, man, how's it hanging?
Apparently you're going to jail right now because I hear sirens in the background.
Oh, dude, yeah, so this microphone picks up literally everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to jail. It'll be fine, though. They'll let me podcast from jail. It'll be okay.
Cool, don't drop the soap.
No, never drop the soap.
Yeah, so it's just the two of us today. Weston has been really busy this week, and so we're holding down the fort over here, getting a good podcast in.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so today we are playing Power Stone for the Sega Dreamcast. I know we had talked about doing Gauntlet Legends, but we could never all hook up to be able to play it, so yeah, we mentioned that we would call an audible if we needed to. But this was an interesting one. I think we're probably going to have different takes on it again, like we did kind of last week. But that's the fun of doing podcasting, right?
Yeah. No, and I actually, we'll see. I actually thought it was pretty fun though. On my second play around.
Yeah, cool. So how's things been going otherwise before we get into that?
Not too shabby. Just same old with the quarantine. It's hard to,
Yeah.
Nothing too wild has been going on. I was excited though. Katie was playing some Stadia with me the other day, and she decided that she wanted her own controller, so I ordered her own controller so we could play together, and that's a lot of fun. We haven't done that in a long time, so that'll be good fun. She's actually supposed to get here tomorrow, so yeah.
Yeah, you better take those opportunities as you can get them, because I know Katie, she's not quite the gamer.
She's not. No. But like we were playing, like I was playing Grid with Noah, and she was really like intrigued by it, and she wanted to play together. And then I was playing Splitlings. She was watching me play Splitlings for a little bit, and she thought that was really fun too. So just like stuff like that. And we've been playing Monopoly together. I got Monopoly on Stadia for like $10, and that's a lot of fun. It's nice with little kids because you don't have to clean it up.
Yeah, that's a cool sale going on right now, and we played a little bit between us as well. So that was it's fun to kind of have group play on board games when you can't be around everybody, right now.
Exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
But apparently Texas is about to just open wide up, so we'll see what happens with that.
I know.
We'll see if we're shut down in another few months or if this thing's really gonna fizzle out. I don't know, but
yeah.
Anyway, I live in a small town, so it hasn't really affected me too much, just day to day anyway. But and I work in an office where nobody's here, so
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, let's turn the corner into Power Stone here.
Yes.
So as we mentioned, this game was developed for Dreamcast. It was the first of its series, and it came out in North America September 9th, 1999, which, so, and then in Japan, it came out February 25th, so just a little bit before the U.S. release, and basically it was kind of the new age of fighting game at that time.
Yeah, it sounds about right, because, I mean, you had, Soul Calibur coming out around the same time, I think.
Yeah.
And, like, you started to get a lot more... Well, like, I think people were experimenting a lot more with 3D visuals and 3D... Like, just making everything 3D, because obviously fighters had been 2D for the last, 15 years or so. So, yeah.
Exactly.
It was pretty interesting play.
It kind of played with the first realm of the arena fighting game type style, Okay, so this game was developed by Capcom, and it was all original fighters there, so it seems like they were trying to start a new franchise with Sega, and it lasted one more game, and we never saw it again, apparently.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like it was very clearly like trying to pull from other games. Like it's I know what am I trying to say? Super Smash Brothers had come out on the N64. I don't think I think was that before that this came out or no?
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay. Because I saw like the items reminiscent to Super Smash Brothers. I saw a couple, like there was a character that was kind of like Ryu from Street Fighter. There's a character that was kind of like Goku from Dragon Ball Z. There's a character that was kind of like Voldo from Soul Calibur. And so they were clearly like pulling stuff from different areas.
Yeah.
And like the game setup was kind of like Aragez, which was a PS1 game where they took a bunch of several original characters and then like a bunch of Final Fantasy characters and threw them into like an arena fighting game.
Yeah.
And it was garbage and it was so much fun, but I loved that game.
Yeah.
Even though it was terrible. But yeah, it was kind of reminded me of stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. So this actually came out before Super Smash Brothers, just like a month before.
It did?
A month or two
before.
Okay. Yeah. Super Smash Brothers came out. Oh, wait. Sorry, I was reading the European release date. Super Smash Brothers came out a couple months before this game. So they were developed around the same time.
Or yeah, probably develop them at the same time, yeah.
But yeah, the characters kind of had like an anime feel to it. It felt like almost like Dragon Ball Z or one of those type games meets like Street Fighter type thing.
Yeah. I think the characters to me reminded me a little bit of like especially the animation, like One Piece. I feel like it kind of was reminiscent of, which I think the guy that actually did One Piece was the same animator for Dragon Ball Z, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay, cool. Right on.
I think so. I might be making that up. I don't remember.
Yeah, so the characters, there were 10 original characters, and they were names were Edward Falcon, Wang Tang, Ryoma, Ayame, Rogue, Jack, Gunrock, Galuda, Kraken, and Valgus.
Yeah.
So they were they were pretty unique in the build of their characters. Like one guy, I believe it was Valgus. He was the mummy guy. He kind of had like he was wrapped up in a mummy, and then they would all have, once they collected all the power stones, they would transform into something else. So he kind of turned into this weird, like spiky, almost like a dragon snake thing that flew around the screen. And it was cool though. Like they all, all the moves and all that kind of stuff was basically the same until you got the power stone, and then they all had differentiating move sets.
Yeah, which I really liked, and I really feel like there wasn't a lot of like in my initial reaction when I loaded up the game was like, oh, there's not that many characters.
Yeah.
But every character plays and feels really different.
Yeah.
Like the big dude, I can't remember his name, but like the really big guy plays differently because he's a little bit more lumbering. He can pull the pillars out and hit people with the pillars.
That was pretty
whereas
cool.
Like the smaller guy, like Falcon, like I played a lot of Falcon where he would like spin around the pillars and jump off. You know? So like they all have a little bit of a different thing going on for them. And all of their ults, which like if you got all three of the power stones, all their ults were very different and unique. So I think it was, obviously it's not the highest quality game in the world, but I think they were trying to go for a little bit more of a quality over quantity kind of thing.
Yeah.
And have just different feels for each character. Yeah. And the guy you were talking about, the mummy guy, that was the guy that reminded me a lot of Voldo from Soul Calibur, where he's just kind of, he has like the scythes or like the guitars at both hands. He's just kind of like snaking around on the ground and being creepy and weird.
It was cool. They were like you said, their size and things like that were unique, which was cool. And who did you play most as?
I really liked, and I wish I could remember, the big dude. I played him. Yeah, I played him initially because I was like, okay, the strategy of this game is to take the pillars down and hit people with the pillars from across the room. Like that was my strategy. And I kept losing, and I was awful. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, so I have to rethink. And I hated the game initially. I'll say that.
Yeah.
When I first played it the other day, and I was playing it again, and I played as Falcon. And I actually enjoyed it quite a bit more once I kind of like redevised my strategy, because my biggest thing with this game is you can't block. You have to dodge stuff, and so it's an interesting way to play a fighting game that I guess I haven't played in that type of fighting game ever before. Every other fighting game I've ever played, you can block, and here you're having to dodge everything, which is very strange. But it was good. It was fun.
Yeah, definitely. And as we were kind of saying the uniqueness of the characters, I played as Wang Tang. Mostly he was like the Goku type guy who actually basically went Super Saiyan with his Power Stone move.
He was the dude I was getting annoyed by because he kept Spirit Bombing me to death.
Spirit Bomb, and the Kamehameha, he had that kind of move too. And so that was pretty cool, and it's neat. I was just kind of reading a breakdown of these characters, and a lot of them were pulled from different likenesses. Like it was talking about here how Edward Falcon was similar to a hybrid of Iron Man. Gunrock, his special move was kind of like he would turn into rock, like the Thing from Fantastic Four.
Thing.
Yep. And so there was some cool different aspects from other characters that they added into the game without crossing too much of a copyright, I guess. Over it, except for Wang Tang, he was pretty questionable because he basically was just Super Saiyan.
Yeah, I mean, Asian copyright laws in general, I think we're all aware, are kind of
janky.
Janky, I guess is a good word. I mean, there's really they kind of just do whatever they want most of the time, so it is what it is.
Yeah. So it was cool. I think. How would you have felt if they put, like, since Capcom owns a wide variety of characters, if like they did kind of a Soul Calibur thing here and put like a couple of characters from the Capcom universe in there? How would you have felt if they did something like that, or did you like the uniqueness of just having 10 original characters in it?
Yeah, I think they would have to do something where like they like the Capcom vs. SNKs or the Capcom vs. Marvels and things like that, where if you're going to incorporate other characters, there has to be a reason why. Otherwise, like, just having like this game Power Stone and it just happens to have some characters from another universe in it, it just breaks it a little bit for me. I don't know. I really I do prefer that there are all original characters in it. I don't really think there's a reason to have unoriginal characters in it, especially because I think at that point in time, and I could be wrong, but at that point in time, I don't think really Capcom, doing like Street Fighter and stuff, hadn't really done much in the 3D fighter realm.
It's true, yeah.
So you would have had to like reimagine all of these characters anyways and translate them into this game to even do that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool. I like your take on that. I kind of have a different take. I liked, like in Soul Calibur, how Link would show up in the GameCube version, or or like Darth Vader and Yoda in the next versions for PlayStation and Xbox and things like that. So I thought it would have been cool maybe if they had like a Street Fighter unlockable character. I know there was a PlayStation game that was it was like a Japanese fighting game that the two like feature characters were Cloud and Sephiroth and Tifa, or they had three.
Yeah,
I can't remember what that game's name was, but I know I played it a lot. Me and Weston actually played that a lot when we were younger.
What console was it for?
It was for PlayStation 1.
The Aragas. That's the one I was talking about earlier.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so I thought it would have been actually cool to, since it was such like a new property, to like throw in like something to draw the crowd, kind of thing. But I think
that's true.
I think it did a good job of holding up and being unique enough to play at the time, because I hadn't played this game in such a long time, and it kind of just rolled across it the other day, and I still don't even think I played this version. I think I played Power Stone 2 with my friends when I was younger.
Oh, okay.
So
and I know this version, when you load it up, I think it says it is the arcade version specifically. I think it does. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and and they didn't have different like arcade versus Dreamcast kind of versions back then. It was just all one, but they did have an arcade version of this game, and I do remember that being in the arcades back in the day. So but yeah, I mean, it wasn't horrible, and I guess they actually had a anime TV series that ran in alignment with this game from 1999 from April 3rd to September 25th. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, because
it might be actually pretty good if it kind of held the same or similar like animation style. It might be pretty decent. I have to check that out.
Yeah, so the show was on in 1999 from April 3rd to September 25th, and this game didn't come out in the U.S. till September 9th. So if you could somehow I guess it probably ran in Japan, and it came out in February in Japan. So I would like to look that up and see just kind of what it was all about.
Was it called Power Stone?
Yeah.
The anime?
Yeah.
I'm looking it up on Crunchyroll right now. No, it's not on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. We'll find it.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
find it. We'll watch it, and that'll be what we review next week.
Maybe. No.
We'll watch the whole season in 1 week.
Yeah, so kind of the gameplay of it all, like we mentioned, it was an arena fighter. They all had the same kind of punch kick move, special move.
Yeah.
But with that, it was a different feel for each character. So like we were talking about. So you kind of just, there was only 2 modes in the game. There was the arcade mode and the versus mode. And the arcade mode was just kind of like your average Marvel vs. Capcom 2 tour type of thing, you know, or like that arcade kind of like fighting tour. And the levels were pretty unique. That was cool. And the levels weren't just like a platform. You could actually use the, you know, some of the things in the level to help you in your fighting.
Absolutely. That was the best part, I thought, because like you had the spawns for like the treasure chest spawns with like flamethrowers and swords and stuff, which was dope. But then you also had levels that just had like tables set up on the patio, and you could throw the table at somebody and things like that. Or like I said, if there's a pillar, you know, depending on the character, you could rip the pillar out, or you could swing on it. Or like Falcon could swing on the pillar in his normal form, and then when he went into his Iron Man outfit, he could actually rip it out. He was strong enough he could rip it out and hit somebody with it if you wanted to. So there's just like a lot of variations, even though it's like kind of a simple game, so to speak. There's a lot going on to keep track of that make it a little bit more interesting like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And that was cool. And then with that, with just like arena items, there was also a whole set of other spawnable items that would come up, like a rocket launcher, like a few different swords, or like kind of like the Super Smash Brothers hammer where you hit them and it would just like knock them down, you know. So
the best.
It was cool. And let's see, there were a stage for each character, so there was 10 stages total in the game, which that's neat. I always like when they do that, when they have the character stage that's based on that character themselves, you know. Like Rogue stage was the Mad had my dad, which was kind of like a Indian Middle Eastern type feel to it, you know, which was cool. But yeah, so I kind of like how they did that. They adapted the stage per character type of idea there.
Yeah, I do like that a lot when games do that. It's nice. And like this game didn't really have a lot of like storyline, and so and I don't know, I didn't see every single stage. I don't really even think they introduced a stage as like a character stage, unless it was just like you're fighting that character in that stage specifically in the arcade mode. There wasn't really maybe like a big connection there, and I think they could have handled that a little bit better.
Yeah, run that up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, there's no dialogue. There like even just like dialogue boxes or anything like that. It is strictly just pick a character and get good at them and beat other people up and have fun.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, it is what it is for the game. It's fine for an arcade game. You know, maybe for a home release, I would have liked to see a little bit more effort put into make things what am I trying to say? A little bit more, I guess, interesting.
Built out a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, you don't want to just like play like a flat game just because the game is fun, quote unquote. Like for me, I like to when I get into a game, I like to have a little bit of world building, at least a little bit, you know, around it.
Yeah, for sure. I think I definitely 100% agree with you. Where it was just a jump-in fighter, there could have been a little more built up around it. At least maybe even some dialogue before the fight, like if it was just a picture, an anime picture that came in and they said something, you know, to kind of get the character personality in mind. That you're fighting and kind of feel more engaging to it. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I could see that. Yeah. I think one gripe that I kind of had with the game, but I can see why they didn't do it, was it was Dreamcast, right? So that was kind of right after N64 with the induction of four players. So I think the 2-player format could have been 4 players, but then I think about it, I'm like, I don't know. Should it have been? Would it have been too busy if there were 4 players? Would it have just been like a too crazy of a brawl. What's your kind of take on that?
Man, if there was 4 people in this game, it would be chaos.
Yeah.
Like it would, the levels would have to be twice as big as they are.
Yeah, I think that's
the
fix there. So
and there would have to be like twice as big of a level and probably half the items.
yeah.
And you could do 4-person. And that's like something where like and I don't know if the original Super Smash Brothers did that or not, but where like you could go in and set these types of parameters when you do multiplayer. So like I know like the newer iterations of Smash, like you can say I don't want to have any items, or I only want to have half the amount of items, or I want to restrict specific items and things like that. Obviously this is a kind of a pioneer game as far as what it's trying to do. So those types of things are going to come in like the second and third iterations of the game more than likely.
Yeah.
But to your point, to do a 4-player, it would have to have something like that, I think.
Yeah, and this game did actually have where you could turn the items off in the options.
Oh, did it?
Setting.
Okay.
But there wasn't like a filter for them, like medium, small, light, so it was just on or off. And that's kind of how the first Smash was too. And now with Smash, I mean, you can say what items you want and what items you don't want, and like the whole reign of things. But yeah, like you said, it was kind of new IP at the time, and really kind of trying to come into its own. And I think the 2-player format in the end was probably the best idea. I know with Power Stone 2, which I would actually be interested to play again.
Sure.
At some point, not right now, but like it was 4 players, so maybe that's one we'll break out when we're all together in the same room and try to play something
that'd
like
be
that.
Sick.
That'd be fun.
Absolutely.
A game like that might be fun to check out.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, I had fun with this game.
Yeah.
I didn't really like it at first, but once I kind of got into it and kind of maybe learned the strategy or formulated a strategy a little bit more, it was fun.
Yeah.
Because like it was just so much different than pretty much every other fighting game that I'd played in just a few minute ways that made it a little bit frustrating at first. But it's interesting to get into.
Yeah, for sure. And it kind of paved the way for some of these arena fighters, which made their ways into different kind of games. I know Marvel had like an arena fighter, and there was like another Marvel title which was Spider-Man. Me and Katie used to play this arena fighter Spider-Man game all the time when we were teenagers. But it's funny. But so it was cool. It was kind of a different just kind of a different game than we've played on this podcast before, really. So what did you think about the graphics for the time? We kind of just go down the list of things we look at here.
Sure. Yeah, I mean the graphics, I didn't think they were bad necessarily. I mean, it's maybe one of those games where if I hadn't played it in like a month, I'd be like, oh yeah, this graphics kind of sucked. But like when you're actually playing it, they're fine.
Yeah.
I always find it a little bit jarring in like any game. And like 2D like RPGs especially are really guilty of this, where they have those nicely drawn anime portraits, and then they use that in the game. Yeah. And then the graphics of the game are like 16-bit or not very sharp. Yeah. And it's just a little bit jarring. It's not the end of the world. It's not that big of a deal, but it's a little bit jarring. In a game like this, it's not that big of a deal because there is no story. I guess maybe that is something that's going for it.
Yeah.
Is that there's no story elements during the fight or what have you, or even before or after. So that you don't really have to worry about those popping up. But yeah, when you're playing the game, I mean the graphics are good enough. Yeah. For what it is. It's not like you're missing the hitboxes are weird or anything like that. I think that's my biggest thing for a fighting game, is just if the hitboxes were off or what have you because of the pixelation, the graphics. But I hadn't found that to be the case in this game.
Yeah, so I agree with that. I think for its time, and to kind of compare it to other things like, for instance, Super Smash for N64, I thought the detail was really good on the kind of polygon people that were fighting. I thought it was good. And then you think about games like Final Fantasy VIII that came out at that time, and different style of a game, but still,
Mhm.
as far as the animation in the game, I thought it was decent. It was, you could make it out, and heads were a little weird
Yeah.
and things like that. It was just like a sphere with eyes on it, But
Yeah.
but I thought they did enough, over with the transformations and things like that to really make it visually okay. I expected it to be a lot worse than it was, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is all
Yeah.
right, this is cool. And like basically the Ryoma guy, he turns into Silver Samurai, and the
Uh-huh.
effects when he turned into the Silver Samurai type character, he
Yeah.
was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Like there's like shimmering effects and things like that. So I thought graphics overall were pretty okay. You could really understand what was going on in the game. I think like
Yeah.
kind of what I would compare it to is like almost like a Banjo-Kazooie type feel, to where
That's
you're
reasonable.
you kind of running around in an arena type thing, even though Banjo-Kazooie is an adventure game, but kind of the feel of how
Yeah.
you're running around and things like that. So
Yeah. Yeah, like Banjo-Kazooie or like Donkey Kong 64.
yeah, that too.
Kind of the similar. Yeah.
Yep. So cool. And then the music, it was for me, it wasn't anything to write home about. It was just kind of like your
Nah.
typical Japanese anime fighting music, nothing.
Yeah.
Just kind of got repetitive. It didn't really stand out to me as anything. Oh, this is awesome. This score is great. I don't know how you.
Yeah,
felt.
I mean, no, I'm pretty much the same. It is kind of one of those games where, you know, I'm probably like this type of game is one of those ones where I would rate it. I'm just gonna shut the sound off and listen to my own music, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Like it's not anything that that it's so good that I have to listen to it. This is not. We're not playing Final Fantasy. Nobuo Uematsu did not make the sound for this game. It's fine, but it's not anything to get like worked up over having your 5.1 surround sound system hooked up to listen to it.
No, not at all. Yeah. Yeah, and then so we've got gameplay, we've got graphics, we've got sound, and then kind of the next one would be like replayability. I probably won't play this game again, but I am definitely really interested to play the second one to see the jump they made in just I think it was a 2-year time period.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would play this again. I think.
Yeah.
It would probably be like, if you and Weston or what have you wanted to play it together, I probably wouldn't play it by myself.
Yeah.
Necessarily, maybe, I don't know, just to kick around a little bit, because it is very arcade. I mean, you can pick this up for 10 minutes when you have some spare time and goof off and have a little bit of fun. It just depends on what kind of gamer you are. But I mean, I wouldn't probably sit down and dedicate hours to this game by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the simplicity of this game was what made it so good. And we talked about Simpsons last week about how it was content over quality. This game felt like more quality over content because it was just a very one-dimensional, you go through a thing and fight 10 random fighters, and there was no boss level or anything like that. But it was, and it was it was just very simple, very to the point of what you're trying to do here. And I think they put a lot of effort into doing that special thing. So
yeah, no, I agree. The game I think is more just about experimenting with this type of gameplay and see if people like it, and that's it. And it is fun, and I did wind up kind of liking it.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like was not having a block. And
that
really
was
having
that
much
was
of
a
a
big
story.
frustrating part was not blocking.
Yeah.
But this game for the time period did get really good reviews, like 4.5 out of 5, 8 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10. A lot of big IGN did 8.7 out of 10. So it for its time period, I think it was really good, and that's why it got a sequel. And I think I probably wouldn't pick this game up again, but if we were all hanging out, I'd be like, oh, let's do Power Stone 2. That'd be fun, to play.
Yeah, absolutely. So. I'd have to play Power Stone 2, because my thing is like, even when when you sent me this game and were like, hey, play this, and I loaded it up, I didn't even know what it was. I had no expectations. I didn't know it was a fighting game. Yeah, I saw the cover art, and that's it.
Okay,
and all
cool.
I saw was I was like, oh, there's a guy holding a stone. Neat.
Yeah.
and let's jump into the game, and I'm like, arcade mode, versus mode. Oh, it's a fighting game. Okay, load it up. Pick a character. All right, cool. Jump in. I had zero expectations. So if Power Stone 2 is that much better, like I'm all for it, and I will never play this again if Power Stone 2 is that much better.
Yeah.
But I have no idea. You know?
Yeah, me
but it was
either.
fun. It was fun.
Yeah, and then later on, they did release the Power Stone collection for PSP in the 2000s. So it had both of these titles in one game. It's kind of like a re-release when PlayStation started working with Sega.
Nice.
So anyway, yeah, I think that pretty much closes the book on that. I think the only thing to do left is to rate it, and if we don't rate this with Power Stones, I think we're doing something wrong here.
Yeah, I kind of agree. What color do you want to use? The red ones, the yellow ones, or the blue ones?
Okay, let's tier this out though. Okay, so blue's the best because that's my favorite color, and then yellow, and then red. So it's like if you give it 10 blue stones, then it's a perfect game. If you give it 0 red stones, then it's the worst game in the world.
This is a really complicated system, but I'm going to try to go along with it.
Okay. All right, we're making it interesting this week. So for me, I'm going to give it like 5 yellow stones because it was pretty much right in the middle for me.
Yeah. It's funny.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to give it 1 blue stone. Okay, so this is like a 30-point rating, so it was better than average, but just not much over that.
Yeah, I think, for me, if I was like rating this back in the day, I would probably be like, yeah, this is awesome. But like right in the right here and now, I was actually gonna say 5 out of 10 yellow. I really think this is right in the middle. It has some cool ideas, but it's missing something that's just like makes it a classic. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah, and I agree with that, but I definitely had more fun with it than I thought I would, and
I did too.
Still enjoyed it, and so yeah, I'm just above that, above average with it, just because of the new IP aspect of it and the effort they put into it. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. But yeah, cool. So basically a 6 out of 10 for me and a 5 out of 10 for you. if we're gonna break it down, cool.
Pretty much, yeah, I'd go with that.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I think we're going to close the book on that one, and we will move on to something else next week, which we need to talk about. This is live on the podcast talking about the game we're going to play. We have no pre-talks about it.
So do you want to play a single player or a multiplayer game?
Let's do a single player because we've tried to do some multis recently, and so we can kind of just change it up, something we can play by ourselves, especially since like Weston's so busy right now. It'd probably be easier for him to just play some kind of single player adventure game or side scroller or something like that. I don't think have we done a side scrolling game in a while?
Since I've been on the podcast, no, we haven't done a side scroller. So that might be fun. Yeah, we do something like that.
Yeah, and let's see, we've done this was Dreamcast, we did GameCube, and then we did some Super Nintendo games before that. But we did Sonic. That was our last side scroller. You weren't on that podcast, but that was a few weeks ago. So I'd be down to do something. Does anything come to mind for you?
Ooh, you know what we should do? We should either do Kirby or we should do one of the Mega Man X games because those are sick.
Yeah, okay. What's more to you? I think if we do a Kirby game, I want to do Superstar, and that's a game I want to play together. So
yeah, I also have that. So
yeah.
I have like 3 or 4 Kirby games, but yeah, I mean Kirby's always good.
Why don't we do
like Mega Man X is fun because it's hard.
Yeah,
it's super challenging.
Okay,
but I know those hold up really well too.
Yeah, let's do a Mega Man X game. So do we want to do like a later one or just kind of the intro to the franchise?
That's a good question.
Because like I think Mega Man X4 Star was where you could switch between 0 and X.
What? We should just play Mega Man X for the Super Nintendo.
Okay, we'll do the original.
Do that.
Okay, we'll do the OG. Cool. I play that game a bunch, so that's one of my that's gonna spoiler alert that I love that game. So
I think I have it too. So I'm pretty sure I have it. So that'll be fun.
Cool. When was the last time you played that game? long time ago? Cool.
I never had a Super Nintendo as a kid. If I have played it before, which I'm not sure that I actually have, but if I have played it before, it was at a friend's house.
Awesome, cool. So yeah, looking forward to that. I will shoot that one over to Weston as well, and that's kind of a you could actually beat that game pretty handily if you played it for a few hours at a time over a few days.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right, so Mega Man X next week, but before we close it up here, there was a few points you wanted to talk about, some cool Stadia news while we're in that vein. We talked a little bit about Stadia the last couple weeks, but they have announced, like, they just came up this week and put it on the table with a lot of new content coming.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. So, I mean, I am the Stadia ambassador, I don't get paid by Google, but I love Stadia.
Yeah.
And, they dropped their Stadia Connect on Tuesday, and during it, they were like, oh, yeah, here's PUBG out now.
Yeah.
Like, what? And I loaded up Stadia, and it was just there.
Yeah, same
here. Claimed it and started playing it immediately, and it's just sick. They do the kind of stuff. But yeah, the great thing is that, like, for PUBG specifically, if you're a fan of battle royales and whatnot, the nice thing with it is when you load it up on PC, it'll ask you if you're playing with a keyboard or if you're playing with a controller, because the rankings are different and you'll get matched with different people.
Oh, that's neat.
So that's nice. Yeah, that is really nice. And then the other thing is that because they're doing pro memberships for your first 2 months for free, you get PUBG for free, but you also get the season pass for free. So that saves you like it saves you like $30 right there to have all the extra season pass rewards thrown in. So just nice little things like that. And they're doing a bunch of new games with some discounts and what have you. I think the controllers are on sale right now too. They're like $10 off.
Oh, nice.
What they're normally priced. So yeah, I mean, it's really fun. It's a good time to get into it. If you haven't tried it out before, you don't need all you need is a Gmail account. You don't need a controller. You don't need anything. If you want to play with a controller, you can use a PlayStation 4, Xbox, generic controller, whatever. Just plug it into your computer, or you can just play mouse and keyboard, which is super fun. So yeah, it's been a blast.
Yeah, nice. That's cool. And they also talked about they've solidified some more deals with like EA and some different developers, which is cool because they're going to be bringing Madden to Stadia. And I saw a lot of complaint like, oh, Stadia is getting Madden before Switch is, what's going on, EA? But I think that's going to be really cool. And I'm definitely down. I'll probably, next time I buy a Madden game, I'll probably get it on Stadia. Because I'm not gonna buy Madden 21 at launch this year.
No.
Yeah. The only reason I got Madden 20 was because they did do a lot to change it, but I just can't see them doing too much with it this year. So I will definitely pick up Madden 21 when it is cheap and comes out on Stadia, and that way we can play too, which will be cool. So.
Yeah. So the great thing about Madden being on Stadia, which I fully plan on getting it at launch because I don't have it right now. But whenever you're playing Madden, like every single time you load it up, there's always a download.
Yeah.
And on Stadia, you never have to download anything. It's always up to date.
Yeah.
So if you just log in and play, like I don't have to wait 15 minutes or what have you to actually start playing the game, that's the best aspect of it, to me at least, as far as playing on Stadia is concerned with Madden. And they're also doing FIFA on there too.
Yeah, which is cool. So those games will cover kind of a wide variety of stuff. And I'm 100% going to get Madden on Stadium next time, especially just so we can play,
Yeah, absolutely.
And that'll be really, really cool. And looking forward to that. That's been a thing that I think a lot of people have asked for, these kind of sports-ish games. And I've been playing some Stadia recently, and I hadn't played in a few months, and I can tell that the servers have gotten a lot more stable, and because I have the same internet connection and same router and everything, but I can tell that the servers have gotten a little more stable, and the gameplay has been really seamless recently. So I'm pretty happy about that. I think they're moving in the right direction, especially if they can get some bigger titles going on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're also
they're also
bringing Star Wars to Stadia as well, as a note. they're bringing.
Yeah, the Fallen Order. I'm trying to remember the name of it now.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Last Jedi Order, Fallen Jedi, Order of the Fallen Jedis, I think is the name of it.
Yeah, something.
It's a good one. I don't know. I have it for PC, and I really loved the crap out of that game. It's sick, so I'm really looking forward to that too. Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, so cool. And then Stadia is also going to have games like the Avengers, that new Avengers game coming out.
Yes.
So
it's got Cyberpunk coming out too.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so cool.
Yeah,
good things looking for Stadia. Was there anything else from that Connect you wanted to mention? They have any other announcements?
No, not really. I mean, they mostly were just talking about all the new games coming out because the lineup is like a little bit limited right now, and that's the one thing people have been fussing over the most.
Yeah,
is the lineup being limited, and so they were just really talking about a lot of the games that are coming out. Specifically for Stadia, and then they announced the May free games and then just like stuff that's coming out in the future. So I mean, I think they're supposed to be adding like something like another 175 or so games before the end of the year, and I think we're going to see a lot of really cool stuff on there. The nice thing is they have the contract with Ubisoft.
Oh, nice.
Segueing into our next part, they had the contract with Ubisoft, and they had like Assassin's Creed Origins, I think it was.
Yeah.
Was like one of the big launch titles, and so they just announced Assassin's Creed Valhalla yesterday, and I'm sure that'll get a quick launch on Stadia as well, which looks.
It wouldn't
bananas.
shock me if it wasn't launch day on Stadia. And Stadia kind of reminds me of when the PS4 first came out. There was like no titles that was really like hard hitting with it, you know? And so now we're getting into year 2 of Stadia, or starting to get closer to that. And you know, I think they're moving in the right direction. I'm glad they haven't just like completely abandoned ship, even though they've definitely taken a loss on it. So. Yeah,
well, the thing is, I mean, like, they have millions and millions of dollars invested in it, and they keep investing in it. I mean, they've bought several studios. They're making strides with it, and it's like every single time they come out with something new, it just ups the ante on the system, in my opinion, and they've just been doing really good stuff with it. I actually was playing the Division 2 the other day, and got into a match. Like a dungeon, quote unquote, in that game with another player, and didn't even realize, but it has the picture-in-picture in that game. And I don't remember exactly what Stadia calls it, but essentially you can see the other player's screen and what they are doing at the same time. Yeah, like that down in the corner, so that you can like check in on your teammate and make sure they're not, in trouble or whatever. Which I know the other Tom Clancy, like that Ghost Recon Breakpoint, I think is the name of it. That was like a big feature for that game, is that all your teammates can see everything your other teammates are doing, so you can kind of strategize and be more tactical about it. And yeah, Division 2. I don't know if they do that for console versions or what have you or not, but I know they have it on Stadia, and it's pretty cool. It was very nice to be able to see that.
Oh, nice, cool. Yeah, so they're moving in the right direction, and I think keeping fans updated and pushing content is really the way they need to go. So cool, good on you, Google. Good on you. You got all the money in the world, so you should be able to make a nice gaming virtual console.
Right? Jeez Louise. Like, I got my Google phone, and I got my Google Home, and I need my Google Stadia. I love it, though.
Yep.
I'm all in on the Google trade.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, with that, we mentioned a little bit, but the new trailer for Assassin's Creed dropped, and we kind of wanted to do some first reactions on that.
Yeah, so my first reaction was, all right, this is kind of cool, and I've been playing Assassin's Creed since the first Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
The last few were not very good, and so I skipped Syndicate. I skipped what's the Unity. I played 1 through 3 basically, and then skipped Syndicate and Unity. And I haven't played Origins yet, just because it's more like RPG-ish and open world than other iterations of it, and I wasn't like necessarily thrilled about that gameplay concept. But anyways, looking at Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it looks like it might be sort of similar to that, but it does look super badass and amazingly fun. my initial thoughts were watching it is like, this looks super cool, super fun, but it doesn't look like an Assassin's game at all.
Mm-mm.
And then at the very end, he whips out the hidden blade, and I was like, all right, here we go.
There it is. Yeah.
There it is.
Found it.
So yeah. So that looked pretty amazing. I'm really interested to see how that shakes out. Of course, all we have right now is the trailer. Really, I don't even think they've released any gameplay or anything like that. So
yeah, so it's coming out holiday 2020 on Xbox Series X and Xbox One. Have they said any more launch? Have they said any more consoles it's going to launch on?
no, I mean, just looking at the end of the trailer, it just says Series 1 and Xbox.
Yeah, so it might take some time to catch up to the other consoles or whatnot, which is funny to me because you think PlayStation would get it at least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember the original Assassin's Creed I had on Xbox 360. I don't remember if it was also a PS3 launch at the same time. I assume it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be, because I know it wasn't an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and it might just be, Xbone's the only company that's confirmed that they're gonna do it, and and actually we were gonna talk about too the Xbox Series X. Microsoft's doing a demo on May 7th for the Series X to show off some of the games and the gameplay. And so, I mean, I think they're really starting to get the ball rolling maybe a little bit sooner than Sony is.
Gotcha.
As far as some of this stuff. And then I know, like, Stadia, their biggest thing right now is just getting contracts.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out the contracts on all of these games. And so we might not find out for a little while yet if they're going to get it.
Yeah, who's actually going to get it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I doubt it'll be on the Switch, so.
Yeah, I know.
Switch, probably way too.
If Switch ever gets it, it'll be like 5 years later.
Yeah, it'll be on the
titles.
next iteration of whatever Nintendo consoles are coming out, and it'll be $60 when everybody else is selling it for $20.
Yeah, and they also just put out like Skyrim like 30 years late, so
exactly,
like last year.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I paid $60 for Skyrim VR though, so I mean that was worth it. It was dope.
yeah, I have it as well. It's pretty cool.
Oh, do you? Nice.
Yeah. So, anyway, but that's cool. So that's kind of the gaming news, the big news this week. We're recording on Thursday of the week, and there hasn't really been much to talk about other than that. So,
yeah, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always stuff going on, but nothing too wild.
Yeah. We kind of know some of the games that are going to come out later this year. Nothing has been announced that it's been too delayed because of this whole thing. So. I hope that holds up because there's some cool stuff coming out towards the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the thing with, I guess, the quote unquote nice thing with some of these games is a lot of the devs and whatnot can probably work on it from home for the most part. I mean, it's not going to be as coordinated, but you can still work on it from home.
We were just talking about Assassin's Creed. I was watching the trailer from Xbox or from Microsoft. Yeah, it's actually going to be out holiday 2020, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC, and Stadia. So it's going to be a launch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Cool.
Okay, cool. I'm glad to know that. Glad to clear that up.
Yeah, so I'm glad we got that cleared up. That's good.
No good. Switch, though. PC and Stadia, though. That's cool. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be huge for Stadia, too.
Oh, yeah, that'll be a big one for them for sure.
Yeah, because this will be one of the first, like, brand new game launch titles they've got. So.
Yeah, I mean... I'm trying to think of, like, I guess Red Dead 2 launched at the same time. It came out for PC. So tomato sort of thing. Yeah, which was late. I mean, so kind of like that. But yeah, I mean, Stadia doesn't really have a lot of like exclusives or like brand new games that have come out launched on PS4 and Xbox and also Stadia,
Yeah, that's where I think they would be due to team up with somebody like Ubisoft or something and create a new title to bring people into the service, So
yeah, and I mean, like their original games, like Guilt, it's a lot of fun. I really like that game quite a bit. But it's not gonna be something that's gonna draw somebody to spend $130 on to get the like bundle system thing. So
right, for sure. So cool. Well, I think that's pretty much it for this week then. Yeah, nothing else really to talk about from there. So
No. I'm tired of talking.
yeah, I think we covered it today. Kind of a shorter episode,
Yeah.
but still we're cranking them out, and hopefully Weston will be back with us next week, and we can continue the trivia train.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're pretty on time, other than not doing the trivia.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. So
I can start like shouting about politics or something, I guess, if you wanted to.
No, I'm
get
good.
the time
We're
longer.
gonna keep
no,
that.
okay.
We're gonna keep that out of the podcast.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I won't do that.
Yeah, I think.
Not that I would anyway.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm still playing Final Fantasy VII. I haven't played much this week. Just I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying not to waste it, and I've just been super busy with other stuff. So playing other games.
Yeah, it's kind of my thing. I've been so busy with work, and it's like I haven't played much of anything this week that I've wanted to, and like I played a little bit of Division yesterday, played a little bit of Power Stone this afternoon before the podcast, just to kind of refresh myself and stuff like that. But yeah, not a lot so far.
Yeah, for sure. So we played some Monopoly yesterday. That was fun.
Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Dropping that game's definitely worth. I was like, $10 for Monopoly. I don't know about this, but it's visually fun and things like that. Yeah. It brings kind of new flavor to the board game, and it comes with a lot too. It's not like you're forced to buy a bunch of new boards and things like that to kind of up the scenery of the game. So that's neat. It's fun. It's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus,
you can just like jump in a game with random people and stuff. So
yeah, or your friends
nice,
too, over the air pretty easily.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you can like do like 6 people local play, which is insane. So
in the Stadia chats, almost like as good as Discord and things like that. So it's cool.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it's Pro is free right now, so you can go and get that game for basically $30 off of original price.
Yeah, sick.
Deal of
we'll buy
week.
Monopoly.
Yeah.
It is 1965. Buy Monopoly.
Yep, cool. All right, guys. Well, I think we are going to wrap it up here, and we'll be back next week with some Mega Man X. And I'm gonna call Katie and see if she's gonna bail you out of jail, because I've heard nothing but sirens in the background while we've been doing this podcast.
Yeah, I'm actually being held down by a police officer right now.
The police officer is just really into retro video games and wants to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. It's like when we were playing music the one time, and the cop just came and like listened for a little bit.
Yeah, that was hilarious. We had this big chicken house we were playing music in, and like we're just all in the zone and play band practice, and we look up and there's a police officer standing there, and we stop. We're like, "Oh, what's going on?" He's like, "No, continue. No, it's cool." And then after that, he was like, "By the way, there's a noise complaint. You might want to just like either close the store or turn it down."
Yeah.
He's like,
it was always that subwoofer too.
It was because of my bass amp, and that's my favorite part of it.
Or like when we played at my parents' anniversary, and the same thing. Like the cop got there, and we were like just finishing up, and he's like, "Oh darn! Well, if you're just finishing up, I guess I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and then
and
then he wanted to talk about our setups.
Yeah. He started talking about electric guitars and everything. It was fun. Yeah. Oh man, good times.
Good times. Maybe one day we'll pull out the guitars again and see how bad we are. Yeah.
Hey, I'm pretty good still.
Okay.
You can watch my YouTube live stream at www.youtube.com/Aaron.Bowen. I live stream musical concerts every Friday night at 12 o'clock midnight, and it's super fun. So come on by.
$10
None of that's true. $10 at the door. None of that's true.
None of that's true.
Don't
if
look
it was, that'd be a good idea.
I mean, I could. Awesome. No, I couldn't. I don't know. I'm not that good anymore.
All right, we're going off the rails here, so we are going to wrap it up.
Off the rails.
Mega Man X. We'll see y'all next week. Out.
Bye.
Bye. If you'd like to send us a message, you can email us at kitgpodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at kitgpodcast on Twitter.